Evening, everyone. It's Wednesday night at exactly 7 o'clock, the 30th. It's the last day of the month, the last day of the quarter, and the end of the first half. So, there was plenty of economic news today. None of it particularly overwhelming, but we'll get into it anyway. We had the ADP number come out at 692,000 new jobs. The expectation was somewhere between 400,000 and 700,000, so it was a pretty wide range. Pending home sales were up 8% versus an expectation of up 4.4%, so a big number there. Mortgage applications, on the other hand, were down for the second week in a row. This week, down 6.9%. Last week, they were down 2.1%. And the Chicago PMI, that's Purchasing Managers Index, fell to 66.1. Estimates were for 70, but you have to remember that anything above 50 is expansion. So, there you have it for the market, which was very much a split affair, just like it has been of late, with the Dow up 210, the NASDAQ down 24, the S&P new record high close up 570, the Russell down just under $12 or 0.5%, and the Dow Transports up 26. What was interesting, I thought, was the Dow. There were no huge gainers in the Dow, and there were no huge losers in the Dow. And in fact, it was 25 up and 5 down. The only double-digit down stock was Visa, paring 13 Dow points off. Aside from that, there were no other double digits. On the upside, however, we also was kind of a calm day. The biggest gainer was Goldman Sachs, adding 45 Dow points, followed by Walmart and Boeing, each adding 25 Dow points. But aside from that, I mean, there was no $100 move or, as I said, Goldman Sachs, the biggest mover. We also had oil up $0.50, gold up $8, Bitcoin down 1,700. We had the dollar up 39 cents at 92.43, and the bonds were up about 0.75%. On my sector watch, everything was either up or mixed to higher, with the exception of the meme stocks, unless you happen to be in Bed Bath & Beyond, which was up a hefty chunk, up 3%, I believe, was the number. Let me just make sure that's right. Yep, 33.18, up 327, 10.93%. On the downside, we had MVIS down 7.5%. We had that's pretty much it for anything with a big move. And we had Wendy's, which is sometimes a meme stock, sometimes not, only up 2.3%. GameStop was up 1.79 and AMC was up 40 cents, so nothing too overwhelming there. And as far as the advanced declines, we were 1,900 up, 1,400 down, so we'll call that 9 to 7, so not terrific. NASDAQ was 2,200 up, 2,000 down, so that's 1.1. What was interesting, however, was the fact that the volume, which has been running around 4.3, 4.5 billion on NASDAQ, today was 5.2 billion. So that's a pretty hefty jump for the volume on essentially what was an unchanged day. Now, the chart on the screen, I want to go over this because Dennis pointed this out to me midday today. And although I knew, I hadn't really looked at it per se. So, transient inflation, huh? I think not. And I'll tell you why. And this chart shows you why. Corn today up 40 cents a bushel to 588. 40 cents to 588. That's a massive move vis-a-vis a commodity. Next, soybeans. $13.99, up 86 cents a bushel. The meal, the oil, all much higher. Wheat, $6.79 and a half, up 33 and a quarter. Hard wheat up 32, spring wheat up 35. Oats, a tiny little crop, $3.92, up 5.6. Even canola up. So there was a crop report. That's what Dennis was telling me about, and that's why he keyed in on it. And the bottom line is, amount in storage was lighter than expected. Amount planted was lighter than expected. The weather in the growing areas is horrendous. It's either hot and dusty or flooding, neither of which are particularly good for crops. The point being, as Dennis pointed out to me, is these are your basic building blocks for food. And if there's inflation in food, who does it hurt? Doesn't hurt the top 1%, but it does hurt everybody else. And the further down the line you get, the more it hurts. It's like the situation with gasoline for guys who drive pickup trucks to get to work and use them as their office. This is a major recessive tax on people. Now, it's been 16 months since I added those 8 futures charts to my weekly market insights. I've been hammering at this over and over and over again about food inflation. It is clearly here. It is a problem. And if you want to learn how to protect yourself against it, hedge yourself against it, let me know, because Dennis will be happy to take on accounts in order to trade these things. Okay, so back to the market. We had 230 IPO'S in the first half of the year. That's more than we did all of last year. Today's crop was okay, higher, not great. Some of them great, others not so great. LZ, Legal Zoom, came at $28, opened $36.75, closed $37.35, up $9.35 from the issue price. Better than average. Clear Security, symbol YOU, came at 35, opened at 41.20, traded as high as 44.79, closed at 41.60, up 660. 16%, not bad, except that it closed on the low. Sentinel 1, and this one gets the old Sears symbol S. Priced at 31, opened at 46, traded between 41.11 and 46.5, finished the day 42, up 11. More than decent, 33%, very nice, again, on the low. And DIDI, DIDI, which is the ride-sharing company, and it has, from what I have understood all day listening to people talk about it, a just absurd valuation. It's valued on the same kind of basis as Uber and Lyft, even though it's minuscule compared to them. Yes, the addressable market is huge. It came at 14, opened at 16.67, high of 18.10, low of 14.10, closed 14.57, up a minuscule 57 cents. So not great performance. I wasn't terribly impressed by it. Micron, after the close, earnings beat both top and bottom line. Upgraded at BMO to outperform from market perform. The stock had closed 84.98, up $2.05. Traded as high as 85.90 after the earnings came, then fell back 83.46, down $1.52. And Intel was also lower on the delay until sometime in 2022 for their new Xenon chip, Xeon, Xenon chip. It had traded all day, finished the regular day 56.14, and that was down 61 cents. 56.10, down 65 cents in late trading, so nothing overwhelming. So the long and the short of it is real inflation, not transitory. Let's remember, you can't produce corn, wheat, soybeans. You can't produce any of that by adjusting your supply chain. It takes as long to grow as it takes as long to grow. But with global warming, with excessive heat and dry versus excessive heat and floods, not great growing conditions. So, think about that when you're thinking about how General Mills is going to do making cereal or Post or let's face it, meat. It's the same thing. They have to feed feeder cattle. They have to feed live hogs. They have to feed chickens. All of that is part of the food chain, and that is a problem. Have a good evening. I'll be back first thing in the morning.